how you can turn $100 into like $1 million. So we're gonna get into it. Remember, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Let's level up together. Let's go. Let's go. So I'm just gonna um, share a screen with you guys so you guys can see what I'm talking about, and you guys can also, check out the site if you want to do this yourself, the calculation. So here we go. I'm going to share it with you. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Let's level up together. Let's go. So here you go, guys. You got investor men calculator here. So if you put in, say, $100, right, over the next, say, 50 years at a 10%, and you have like a monthly contribution of $100, you could end with a end balance of about 1.7 plus million dollars, and you only contributed about $60,000, right? Now you may think this is a long time, but imagine if you do this for your child, right? You could even put more money, but we're gonna touch on that a little bit after. But remember, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Let's live together. Imagine if you do this for your child, right? When the child first born, and you only put in $100 every month into something like a ETF, like the SPY or VOO, which historically have a return of about 7 to 10% return on your money annually. So if you invest in things like those, guys, right, you could potentially make your money turn into about 1.7 plus million dollars, and you only contribute about $60,000, right? Now, if you're saying you wanted to do this, um, if you wanted to do this faster, right? So if you wanted to do this faster, you obviously just have to put in, just do the calculation here. So if you wanted to do this faster, right, you could put in, say, $1,000 over the over about 30 years at about 10% return. Remember, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Let's level up together. Let's go. And you contribute, say, $1,000 every month, and you have an end balance of about 2.2 million plus, and you only contributed about $360,000 over 30 years. So that's if you wanted to do it faster. Now, if you wanted to do it even faster, like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's level up together. Let's go. What's going on, team? Let's go. Welcome to the live, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. So if you wanted to do it even faster, right? Let's just do the calculation here. Let's do the calculation. Let's double check this here. All right. Let's go, guys. Oh, hi. Welcome, guys, to the video. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's just do this. 2,000. All right, so if you wanted to do a little bit faster, right? Say you contribute a starting amount of about $1,000, and you only put it for 20 years, right? And you put in, say, 2,000 every month. You have an ending balance of around. Oh, appreciate it, Fatima. Thanks for the sub. Let's go. Let's go. So you have an ending balance of about 1.5 plus million dollars, and you only contributed $480,000, right? And keep in mind, you started with $1,000 and only put in about additional $1,000 every month. So the reason why, remember, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Let's go. Let's load up together. The reason why this happens is because something called compound interest. So it just keeps compounding your money and making it grow faster. So the earlier you start, the more you could potentially have, right? So let's look at something else, right? Remember, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Let's go. So say you put in, say your child was born, right, as we said, and when your child is born, wow. All right. See, when your child is born, right, and you start with $100, right, and then you put an additional 2,000 per month, you end with an ending balance of about 1.5 million plus when you only contributed $480,000 over a period of 20 years. So by the time the child is 20 years old, the child will be a millionaire, right, from this strategy. And you only started with $100 and you contributed about $2,000 every every month. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's level up together. Let's go. Let's go. So you started with $100. You contributed about 2,000 every month, and you end with a balance of about 1.5 plus $1 million, and you only contributed 480,000. And this only took about 20 years. So if you have a child who's just born, and you do something like this, by the time the child is 20, by the time the child is 20 years old, like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's level up together. Let's go. By the time the child is 20 years old, right, the child will be a millionaire if you do this strategy. And this is because of compound interest. So it keeps adding up, and it just like a snowball. It just accumulates over time, right? And uh, some things that you could put money in to make the 10% or about 10% on your money, which I'm using this example, is SPY, VO or VOO, so on. Those have a those are ETFs that have a historical return of about 7 to 10% return annually. So there's something that you could look into. Um, like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's level up together. Let's go. So let's do some more mess. Play around with the different numbers here. So if you started with say $1,000, guys, $1,000, and you contributed, $100 a month, right? And you do that for about 50 years or so. This if you say you have a child, and this could help, with generational wealth and all that stuff. So by the time your child is 50, the child would have over $1 million, right? If the child is one right now, and you only invested about $60,000, and it turned into $1.8 million. You could check this calculator and calculate yourself. It's an investment calculator. Um, and that's because of compound interest. So this could start building generational wealth, guys. So if that didn't come from you, it could start coming from your child. At 50, the child would have, if you only contributed $100 a month, and you started with $1,000, the child would be having about $1.8 million over 50 years, right? And as I said, if you wanted to make this faster, you could just simply like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's love it together. If you wanted to make this faster, you could simply just let me just do the calculation. You could simply just increase the the um, the contribution here. So as you can see, now we contribute a monthly about $1,000. We start with about 1,000, and then in 30 years, that will turn into about 2.2 million plus, and you contributed only about $360,000. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's live up together. Let's go. So you see the power of how compound interest can work, guys. In 30 years, if you contributed $1,000 a month, and it start with $1,000, you could end with about $2.2 million, right? And this is something that you could start using to build generational wealth. This is something that they don't necessarily teach us in school, which you're the person you're just the person to give advice. Appreciate it. Thank you, man. So like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's go. Let's level up together. So this is a power of compound interest. This is something that they don't necessarily teach us in school. Like, then you could start making your money work for you than just working for money, right? As you can see, in 30 years, from contributing about $1,000 and starting with $1,000, you have 2.2 million plus, right? And you only contributed this 360, right? 360,000. So that's that's something that, if they teach a lot of children in school, it could be beneficial and people could start building generational wealth. That's this is something that we should be, you know, studying up and learning about. And also, remember, guys, like, share, and subscribe so this could get out to more people and they could start, at least have this as like a nugget, so they have it. They could go back and reference and and get this kind of information where they don't necessarily teach these kind of things in school. So, start making our money make money for us. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's go. Let's go. So, as you can see right here, $1,000 starting, and 30,000. I'm sorry. And $1,000 contributed over 30 years could be turned into $2.2 million, and you only contribute about 360,000, right? Now, obviously, if we start, if we can't, if we, let me. Sorry about that, guys. I think it just got cut off. Okay, there we go. All right. So, um, say let's contribute some more. Let me just calculate these numbers here. Uh, and, let's do okay. Okay, let me see something. $0. 18. Okay. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's level up together. Just calculating something here. Starting video contribution. Okay, here we go. Let me just double check before I share. Alright, here we go. Zero. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's go. Alright, here we go. Alright, so now I'm going to share something like interesting that some of you may find interesting. So, if you to help your children, start building wealth, generational wealth. So if you look at this, right, if you start with $1,000, right, for your child who's just born or one or something, right, and the child is you put $1,000 and you do it for 18 years and you contribute about $100 at about 10% return, and right, at about 10% return. At the end of, by the time the child is 18, they'll have about 66,000, right? Now this is where it gets interesting, right? If from 66, say you start with 66,000, right? And you put $0 in there, and you do this for about 30 years, right? About 10%. That's 60 without any additional contribution after when it hits 66,000, right? You have there's zero monthly contribution over 30 years, and you have about $1.3 million, right? And you contributed $0 if you put that 66,000 that the child got at 18 or so, then the child would be have over about 1.3 million plus. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's love it together. Let's go. And as I said, you contributed $0 on the 66,000, right? So that's how we could. That's one of the way that we could start building generational wealth, guys. That most schools don't teach us, and I think that's something that we should be learning so that we could, we're not just spending our money on getting things that is gonna, like not appreciate or be liabilities. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Welcome to the video. Let's go. Like, share, and subscribe. So we're not just getting things that gonna not make our money make money. We want to start putting money into things that's gonna make us money. And as I said, um, something that you could look into is the ETFs, SPY or VOO. Those some ETFs that have historical return of about 7 to 10% annual return. And for this example, I've been using about 10% return, as you can see here. So this is one of the ways we could start building generational wealth. As you can see, like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's level up together. Let's go. As you can see, we started with we started at let me go back. We started at if the child is just born on one or something like that, by the time they're 18, right, you contribute $1,000 to start, and for 18 years at about 10%, and you have additional monthly contribution of about $100, only $100, guys. By the time the child is 18, they will have about 66,000. Now, if you put that 66,000, right, and you do that for 30 years, right, and you contributed $0 at about 10%, $0 contribution after that, right, you have the child will have about 1.3 million plus, right, as you can see, and zero contribution. So this is the power of compound interest. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's love it up together. Let's go. This is as I said, this is one of the ways we could start building generational wealth and stop and stop breaking the cycle of not having the finance, all those things over generations. So if it didn't start with you, it could start with your child and stuff like that. As I said, in about 30 years, the child would have about 1.3 million plus, and you have zero contribution if you if you do invest the 66,000 when they were 18, and you have no additional contribution, and you do that for about 30 years at about 10%, be about $1.3 million, right? If you guys want to calculate this and see how it is work for you, you could go to investment calculator right here. You could just put in numbers and see what works best for you in your situation. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's level up together. Let's go. This is something that I think they should be teaching in school, so that we're not just wasting our money on things that are not benefiting us or make our money make money. And this can help. If we knew this kind of information, we could have been, investing an extra $100 we had every month into in the ETF that's going to give us a return of about 7 to 10%, and then we could potentially be sitting on about 1.3. Imagine if your parents knew this, right? And when you were born, and then your parents did this, and then by the time you're 30 years old, you be having over 1.3 plus million dollars, right? That's 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 the that's something that I think schools need to be teaching and that we need to be learning. So I'm gonna let's play around with numbers again. Let's see. Let's go here. So say you only have $100 today, right? $100 today. $100, right? Wow, $100. And you start investing. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's love together. You start investing your $100, right, into one of the ETFs, like some of the ETFs that I shared earlier, like SPY, VO, stuff like that. Uh, you could like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's love it together. You could have in 18 years, and you contribute about $100 every month. You could have about 60,000. Now, when it gets interesting, is right here, right? So you put that 60,000 over here, right? And you do that for about, let's do this calculation. You do that for about 30 years, right? And you contributed $0 after zero. You you have a balance of about $1.1 million, right? $1.1 million, and you have zero additional contribution over the 30 years and at about 10% return. So as I said, this is a power of compound interest, guys, and this is something that we should have been learning in school, but unfortunately we didn't know. But right now we able to learn it, so we got to start where we could start with where we're at, right? By the way, if you guys want to learn more things like this and you want to do it in a community and get support, feedback, all those good things, then you could check out the link in my description. It's the first link, and we could sign up for my community. Um, and I'll teach things like this and more, so you could start building generational wealth, making your money make more money. Um, like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's load up together. Let's go. I think it's starting right now is about $9 a month or something like that. So if you want to lock in that rate, you could go ahead and do so. All right. So as it relates to this, guys, you see, you 60,000 starting, 30 years, about 10% return, $0 contribution. In 30 years, you could have about 1.1 plus $1 million at zero additional contribution because of compound interest. So your money's, working for you versus you working hard for your money. This is what most wealthy people do, guys. They make their money. They make their money. They make their money work for them, not them working. That's where you can see um, top. Sorry, guys. I think you just got cut off. Okay, we're back. All right. So that's where you can see top CEOs and corporations. They make a decent amount of money because not because they work harder. You may see the construction guy or somebody out there working hard, 12 hours, 20, 16 hour, all those things, using their physical labor. But this guy is sitting in a boardroom somewhere and making millions because it's something like they're making their money working for them, and they also this is like a whole nother topic, but they also using different strategies, like their communication, all those things like that to make money for them. But as I said, we want to make our money make money. So once you have this, as you can see, right, you have the $60,000 for 30 years and about 10% and zero contribution. You have about 1.1 plus $1 million, right, and zero contribution. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's level up together. And this is imagine like somebody who's they could just easily put in millions of dollars into something like this, and they could have more return on their money. They could have significantly more money, right, um, than somebody who doesn't notice or doesn't put that much money. The whole point is that we start where we're at and make our money make money for us. Not just working for money. We could work 10, 40, 50 years hard. We're working hard, right? And if we don't start applying things like this, then it's not gonna. It's like You could make $1 million. I heard somebody, if you could make $1 million, right, over your lifetime in say 40 years, right? But can you make $1 million in a shorter period of time, right? Where you could start, making your money work, make money for you, and adding value to people so that you could serve them at a higher level. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's level together. Let's go. So as you can see, um, 60,000 contribution right here, starting 30 years, about 10% return. Zero contribution turned into about 1.1 plus $1 million. And I said zero contribution because of compound interest. And if you guys want to play around, put in numbers way based on where you're at right now, you could simply go to investment calculator and just put in numbers that works best, that works for you right now, and you could start seeing what you could potentially start investing to make your money work for you, right? And as I st- when I st- for the $60,000, I said, if you do put in $100, start with $100. If you only have $100 right now, you put in $100 for 18 years at about 10% return, and you contribute about $100 every month. You have a balance. You have a balance of about 60,000. Now, when you put that 60,000 as a starting, right, and you do that for about 30 years, right, and you put no additional contribution, and you will have over $1.1 million. Now, imagine they taught us this in school, right, and we did this with our children when they're born. By the time they be, say, about uh, not that old, right? Not about 30 or so, they could be sitting on a decent amount of money, right? And that's so we could start building generation. That's one of the way we could start building generational wealth, right? So if you were to, let's play around with a number again. I know a lot of some people are having, the money return coming in right now, so putting you could start putting $100 into something, as I said, ETFs, such as SPY or VOO, which has about a historical return of about 7 to 10% return, which we're using about 10% return as this example, and you put in $100 a month. Additionally, after that, you could be you could start setting up your family for generational wealth, to start making your money make money, right? And if you do this for about 18 years, right, and you have about 60,000, and when you put the 60,000 into starting, and you do that for about 30 years, and you'd have zero additional contribution, you have about $1.1 million. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's learn it together. Let's go. So those are some. This is some of the ways you can start making your money make money for you, and not just working hard for your money and not seeing the return on your money. Right? You want to start putting away money, investing money, not just put away money, because I don't want to go off on this, but it's like some people put money into like a savings account, which makes about 0.001%. Especially if you go to something like Chase Savings or Bank of America or something like that, you don't get that much on your return. And the bank usually use our money. I'm not mistaken. They use our money to invest in things so that money could make them money. So imagine we do the similar thing, right? We put our money into something like this, and we could start making our money make money for us, right? And then we don't have to work harder. We just gotta work smarter. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's level up together. Let's go. So your child, next generation or so, could have over $1 million if you just start with $100 into account. Now let's play around with this number. Let me see something. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Welcome to the video. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Let's see. 10 years. I'm just calculating something here. All right. Let's do this. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's go. Let's get this out there. Help some more people. Start off with 100. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's go. Let me know if you guys have any question in the chat. Let me know in the chat if you have any question. Drop it in the chat, guys. If you have any question regarding this or about trading and all those things, just let me know in the chat and answer it. Let's go, guys. $100 a month would turn into a decent amount of money by you investing in the right things, in ETF to that give you a historical return of about 7 to 10% return, which some example are like SPY and VOO. So you can start making your money make money for you. Let's go. Let's go. All right, guys. Let me know if you have any question in the chat. Let's look at some additional things here. SPY. So if you so some place that you could start looking into getting these kind of thing, you want like ETFs and things like that, you want to have a brokerage account. So some brokerage account that you could look into like Vanguard, which is one of the top ones out there. You also have Fidelity brokerage account. You also have Charles Schwab. Those those some brokerage account where you can start, invest in the ETFs that you want to hold for, start building generational wealth and start holding for a longer period of time. You could also look into things like what's the like Robinhood, things like that, and you could also look into Webull. Those usually on phones, they're pretty efficient. But there's some brokerage account you guys could check out. Just a disclaimer, guys, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I recommend doing your own research before making a decision like this. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's go. Let's work together. So you have Vanguard, as I said. You have the VOO dividend, and you have the SPY dividend. And those usually have a historic return of about 7 to 10% return, right? So I'm gonna start looking into those things, and you know, make sure that you're making the right decision when it comes to investing um, into things that's gonna make your money make money for you, right? Um, yeah. And again, guys, we don't necessarily want to be investing in things that's not going to give us that much return. For example, if you put in your money into a regular savings account, which usually gives you about 0.001% or so, that's not going to make your money make. It's not. It's barely going to make your money make money, right? What I prefer, what I personally like to do is, if you're not gonna, if you could, if you're not gonna put your money into ETFs and things like this right now, you simply go into like a high yield savings account, which currently, as I'm speaking, the rates are about 3% to about 5% or so. As I'm speaking right now, it fluctuates. Um, Over time, it fluctuates. So as I'm speaking right now, it's about that. On a high yield savings account, so you can start putting your money in that as well to start making your money make money for you, right? Rather than just having it into a regular savings account or just sitting in a regular checking account. We want to make our money make money for us. And as I said, if you guys want to learn things like this and learn how you could use different strategy to make your money make money for you, and you know, have support, have a community, and all those things, you could click the first link in my bio in the description, and you could check out the community. Starting it is about $9 a month, so you could check it out and see if that makes sense for you. And I'll see you inside if that makes sense for you. All right. So as I said, we want to remember, like, share, and subscribe, guys. So we're up together. Let's go. We want to invest in the ETF, such as SPY or SPY. I'm sorry, SPY or VOO. Some ETF like that. That's going to have an average return of about 7 to 10% return, and you could turn about. You could start making $100 turn into about $1 million, right? So if you, as I said, if you start with $100, right? If you have $100 right now, you put $100 into one of these ETF or something, right? And you put for 18 years, and you get about a return of about 10%, and you contribute only $100 a month. You have about 60,000 in about 18 years, right? And then when you put that 60,000 as a starting, right, and you have it for about 30 years and zero additional contribution, you have about 1.1 plus $1 million, right? And you have zero additional contribution. And that's because of the compound interest, and make your money, start making money for you. So you don't have to keep working hard for your money. Now your money is working hard for you, right? While you're sleeping, while you're on vacation somewhere, you can make your money just making money for you. And as I said, if you want some brokerage account that you can start looking into, this is Vanguard, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, and then if you on your phone, you could also look into Robinhood, Webull, things like that, brokerage accounts like that. That's gonna help start making, start putting your money into the ETFs. That's gonna make your money start making money for you. Now, as I said, if you want to learn things like this and have a community and all those things, check out the first link in my description, and you could join the community. It's only about $9 right now per month starting, so you could lock in that rate. But if you're interested, and I'll welcome you inside. Um, so these are some things, guys. I think that schools should be teaching us, so that we don't necessarily we could be starting earlier, right? We could start where we're at right now, but imagine if our parents knew this, as our grandparents knew this, and so on and so forth. We could we could be ahead, right? But as I said, it's not too late. You can start now, and you could also, invest for your children so they don't have to go through this. So they could, by the time they're 30 years old, they could be sitting on a decent amount of money if you start at when they're born and things like that. So these are some things that I think schools should be teaching us, so that we can make money for us, not just work hard for the money and then tired at the end and wonder what happened, and just trying to survive or something. We want to make sure that we can we start making our money make money for us, and this is one of the way we can start doing that, by simply investing, starting with about $100 a month, over a period of time at about 10% return. And as you can see, it could simply turn into about over $1 million, right? By us using the right strategy and investing in the right things like ETFs, as I said, like that gives you an annual return of about 7 to 10% return. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's level up together. Let's go. Let's go. Here we go. And another thing that you guys could look into, if you want to learn that, you could also join the community. You could go over those things more. But you could check out my videos on YouTube as well. Is option trading. So option trading is where you can make money. Where if the market goes down or up, it doesn't matter. You could make money, make money for you. And option trading, it can be risky, but we want to have the right risk management in place so that we're not risking all our money. As I said, you can make a decent amount of money. I've personally turned, like hundreds of dollars into thousands of dollars from trading option. I'll share one example on my channel if you want to check it out. And that's how option trading works, right? You can make a significant amount of money in a short period of time, and so, but it's also risky. So we want to have risk management in place, so that we're not risking all of our money on the market. And what I really like about it too is that you can make money even when the market is going down. So if the stock market starts dropping, you could make a decent amount of money, right? Because you could buy something called put, which is betting that the stock is going to go down, and once it goes down, you're going to be making money on your money. And then you could just, and then you could also make money while it's going up. So it's like a two-edged thing, right? You can make money while it's going up and when it's going down. But as I said, one of the most important thing from trading option is risk management. Having proper risk management in place so that you're not risking all your money on a trade. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's level up together. Let's go. If you want to start learning things like that as well, you can join my community. As I said, first link in the description. Starting at about $9 a month. So that's if that interests you, you could check it out and see if it makes sense for you. So as I said, with the $100 a month, guys, you just simply start investing $100 a month at about 10% return for about 18 years, and you contribute about $100 every month into the ETF, right? That makes about 7 to 10% return. By end of that 18 years, you could be sitting on about 60,000 plus, and then you could just simply put that $60,000 starting, right, and then you do that for about 30 years, and you have zero additional contribution, and you'll be sitting on over $1.1 million, and you have zero additional contribution just by you starting with $100, and then it could turn to 60 and turn into 1.1 million plus, right? Just because of the compound interest. If you guys wanted to check this out yourself, as I said, you go to investment calculator and you put in the numbers that works for you right now, and see how you could get to that number or more, by you investing your money. So no longer us working, we don't have to work harder for our money. We can start working smarter, start making our money, make money for us. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's level up together. Let's go. And if you guys want to learn these things, you could go watch my start learning about option trading, stock, all those good things. You can check out my free webinar. It's in the description as well, and you can watch that to start learning, about stocks, option, all those good things. So we want to make our money, start making money for us, not just work hard for our money, right? So that's what most wealthy people do. They make their money, make money for them. They invest in things that are going to make their money, make money for them, right? They put their money into into things like this, like stock market or real estate, things like that, to make their money, make money for them. They're not necessarily working out there harder. They're not pushing, going 20 jobs, working long hours and all those things. They're making their money. Most of them are making their money, make money for them. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. So let's work together. So, and I think, that's what we should be starting to implement as well. And unfortunately, school didn't necessarily teach us these things, but we can start where we're at now, with the knowledge we have now, and start making generational wealth. If you have any questions, just feel free to drop it in the chat, and I should be sure to answer it. All right. If you have any question regarding this, investing, all those things like that, let me know in the chat. And let's go. All right. So let me recap. So if you started with about $1,000. No, let's start off with 100. If you started with about $100, you do that for about 18 years, right? At about 10% return, which is some ETFs return about 7 to 10% return yearly, and you contribute an additional $100, right? By the end of 18 years, you have about 60,000, right? And if you put that 60,000 as your starting, and you do that for about 30 years, and you have zero additional contribution, you'll be sitting on about 1.1 plus million dollars, right? And you have zero additional contribution for those years, right? And you have over $1.1 million simply by you starting with about $100 and contributing $100 every month for about 18 years. Then that turns into the 60,000, and then 30 years at zero contribution turns into over $1.1 million, simply because of compound interest, where your money start making money for you, right? Not necessarily you working harder, but your money is now working harder for you. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's level up together. Let's go. And if you want to learn more things like this, you can simply click the first link in my description. We go over and support each other, and it's starting at about $9. And if it makes sense for you, I welcome you in if you join. And the one of the things that I recommend looking into if you don't have anything like this, or you're just starting out, is looking into brokerage accounts. As I said, you can look into Vanguard, Fidelity, Charles Schwab. Those are some of the top brokerage accounts out there, and you can start investing in ETFs. That's going to give you about average return of about 7 to 10% return. And if you want to do it on your phone too, you could also do. They have apps like Robinhood, Webull, where you could start, making your money make money for you. There are some brokerage account that you could start looking into to start investing your money, to start making your money make money for you, not necessarily working harder for your money. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's level up together. Let's go. And this is one of the way we can start building generational wealth for our family. If your child start off with say at one or so, and they do this, you start investing into things like this, they could have over $1 million in not that long of a period of time, about 30 years or so. If you, based on the contribution that you are putting in and the starting amount, so you can start making your money make money for you, and your children and your family could have generational wealth. Unfortunately, they didn't teach us things like this in school, but the best time to start is right now. So we got to start where we're at, and start investing into things like this. If you want to check out how to calculate this, you can simply go to investment calculator, just type it in Google, and you could put in the numbers that works for you right now. And you can see this right here. This is how it will look. There's different ones out there, but I personally like to use this right now. But and then you could just put in numbers and see what makes sense for you. Some people may be able to contribute 2,000 a month, 5,000 a month. Based on what they can afford. They can afford. They do right now. So they people are at different levels, right? So just start where you're at, and the the most important thing is starting and being consistent, right? Starting and being consistent, um, so that you can start doing this, because this could change the family generation, and start building generational wealth, um, by simply doing things like this, simply making your money make money for you. Not you going out or working harder, but putting your money into things that's going to make money for you, such as what we spoke about, ETFs that give you an average return of about 7 to 10% return, and that's just an average. It could simply turn into millions just by you starting and being consistent and investing the into these kind of things, right? And as I said, this is what most wealthy people do. They invest in things like this and different things as well too, right? Like real estate, things like that. And they build generational wealth. So this is some of the ways. This is one of the ways we could start building generational wealth, making our money make money for us. Um, And if you want to learn these things, guys, as I said, feel free to join the community. I'll welcome you in. Once you join, it's only about $9 right now per month. So if you want to lock in that rate, feel free to go do so. It's the first link in the description. I believe it's also in the bio of my site, so of YouTube, so you can check that out as well. Um, Start making our money make money for us. And as I said, you have things like like option trading that can really make your money even speed up, right? But it also has risk, so we want to definitely have risk management in place so that we can not risking all of our money and start making a decent amount of money using strategies like that, right? As well, if you want, you don't have to use that strategy. You could do something like what I'm showing you here, but that's another way you could also speed up the investment, and so you can start making your money make money for you. And let me know if you have any question in the chat. Drop it in the chat. I know this video was a decent length. So drop it in the chat if you have any question regarding investing, finance, all those good things, and let me know in the chat. Like, share, subscribe, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So, as I said, you could check out this calculator, so you could start putting the numbers in to see what makes sense for you to get to the goal that you want to get, right? You contribute more or less based on your financial situation at the moment. However, the most important thing that I would say is starting, and we also want to be consistent. So if you only started with $100, right, every month, if you only start with $100 every month, if that's the only thing you can do, and you do that for about 18 years, about 10%, you have about the 60. You have about 60,000, and if you put that 60,000, as I said here, and you do that for about 30 years, and you have zero additional contribution, right? Zero additional contribution, be sitting on about 1.1 million plus, and you have zero additional contribution because of compound interest. That's why this can happen. Your money's making money for you. You're not necessarily working harder to make money. Make your money make money for you, right? Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's level up together. Let's go. If you have any questions, drop it in the chat. Let's go. If you want to check out my free webinar, I'll leave this in the description as well. You go check that out about stocks and options, 5 simple steps. You can check that webinar out. It's free. So let's go, guys. Let's start building generational wealth, so that we can start setting up our family to have those generational wealth, right? Leaving an inheritance for our children's children. So that's what we want to do, right? Leaving inheritance for our children's children, building the generational wealth, and start start investing. Start what we have. Start small. If it's kind of tight right now, start small. The most important thing is just starting, and then being consistent with what you're doing, right? Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Let's go. Let's get this video out there. As I said, school should be teaching these things, but unfortunately, they don't necessarily teach us these things. So I'm just doing my part here to help inform some people about things that's out there like this, so we can start building generational wealth. And I said, do your research before making any decision on as far as what ETFs you want to personally go into. That gives you about 7 to 10% return. The brokerage account that you want to sign up for, I recommend doing your research and make sure you choose the one that best fits for you. Vanguard, Fidelity, and Charles Schwab, those are some of the top ones. On your phone, you have Robinhood, Webull, things like brokerage accounts like that. Remember, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Remember, for His glory. Peace. Let's go.